In the heat of the moment, precision and excellence are paramount. It's a creed we live by, both in service and beyond. Our beans are sourced from the finest regions, roasted with perfection, and packed with care. Whether you prefer whole beans or ground coffee, Operator Espresso delivers a cup that's unmatched. Whether you're sharing stories with fellow veterans or gearing up for a demanding day, Operator Espresso is there to fuel your mission. Operator Espresso is more than just coffee. It's a tribute to excellence. Join us in our mission. Experience the difference. Taste the honor.
All right. Hey, welcome, folks. Mil Spec Ops Maker here. It's going to be your SITREP. It is 7/30/2024, coming to you live here from the Monkey Lounge in the great state of Texas. And yeah, you read the thumb right. 3 to 4 weeks is all we have to fight a war. That ought to alarm everybody in the United States. If you're paying taxes and you have thought that our military was I still think it's the best military in the world. It's the most advanced military in the world. But I will tell you the reports that I'm starting to read. We knew we were short on a lot of things, 155 millimeter artillery being one of them. But when the findings start to come out that we only have enough to fight not two adversaries, not Russia, but China, who we're barely even focusing on China right now. Everything is looking like we're going to go to war with Russia. And we come out and say we got 3 to 4 weeks, that's not a good sign. And that's certainly would make your enemies lick their chops thinking, okay, well, you know what? If I can sustain 3 to 4 weeks of battle, I can whoop the U.S.'s butt. And so that's a scary thought. And that's not even putting nukes on the table. So let's get into the deets here. I'm going to bounce this over right out of the gate. This is going to be Skyglass. And this is, well, let's see. We're sitting at just under 200 military aircraft up. And let's see if we just kind of break down the numbers. I've already stripped all the trainers out. Those are going to be in the red here. H-60 Blackhawks, got 40 of those up. Notice there seems to be a soiree of them up in this general neck of the woods. Kind of interesting. And yet again, it looks like I still have some some H-60s that are not just showing yet. So I'm going to have to go back and clean up my database. But yeah, look at this. I mean, the Panhandle, that's stuff we can probably discount. So you probably got, you know, a dozen in there out of that. But 41's a big number. And then if we get into the air refuelers, 40 KC-135s currently up. That is a very large number. Let me go down. We add in 11 more 767-200 Pegasus. Again, air refuelers, big indicator of fighter activity. All right. East Coast, very, very active, but that's a lot. The last time we had those kind of numbers, as you may have heard me mention, was when the FAA system had a major glitch and they basically put everything in the air in terms of fighters, just in case it was some type of a cyber attack taking us out. But let me just take a look at Europe and see, yeah, we got a handful of air refuelers up over there. So that's interesting. And then it looks like we got something squawking in emergency here. Looks to be, that's actually a drone, low altitude drone. So let's take these out. Go back to CONUS. And then let's just get into our watch list as we kind of peel this back a little bit. The interesting piece, let's see, we got an emergency low altitude drone there over Turkey. And then looks like some C-17, another low altitude drone. And we go a little further north, you can see we've got some R-135s. I think that's it's a Polish G5, but that's going to be an R-135. Jake is the call sign, 17, I believe that is, headed back to base. It looks like RTB. And then this piece, remember we had this soiree of these DoD intel balloons that had parked themselves all over the manufacturer, and now they've started to spread out a little bit, but we can see we've got quite a few kind of out over the northwest. What is there? I don't know, but keep in mind too, we've been watching R-135s over that similar area looking at things. So there's certainly something going on. I see a lot of spec ops in the air, especially down near Miami, near Trump. We'll see. The interesting pieces, those are the Spec Ops Ubers. So, okay, let's look at the Intel flights. We'll start out over Europe because this is kind of a very active and busy around Kaliningrad and in that general area up towards Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia, out over the Baltic. And then you can see it come back down and then kind of working a little pattern there north of Libya. And then you can see some obvious stuff over Israel. Now, when I get into the drones here in a minute, I'll show you some more activity that is a little more concerning, in my opinion, just because of this activity right there around Kaliningrad. But clearly they are concerned about something. And then you can see, again, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance flights around the United States. All right. No stone unturned. All right. Look at Hawaii. We'll just take a quick peek. Now we get into the drones. We left in Hawaii. We'll start in Hawaii. Just notice that if you're out there in Hawaii, you have got quite a few drone flights over your head. And I don't know what type of drone this is. It could be anything from a Q4, Q9, be anything really. Let's see, little small blip down there on the Texas border and then the southern border there between Arizona, California, quite busy. Go a little further north and you'll see little blip up here in Canada and then in the south of the Canadian border there in Winnipeg, right there on the U.S. side. Nothing on the East Coast, very unusual, but look at this. That's going to be a Q4 drone, and just look at the amount of hang time and flights. This particular aircraft has about a 34-hour loitering parameter on it, I guess you could say. I don't, but you can see some low altitude drones there too. But man, they are looking out at a great distance. It'll head up there around 60,000 feet, and then it's just gathering all kinds of intelligence there. And then look at this too, a Q4 drone. That's a U.S. military asset over Israel. You want to just think for a minute that they aren't all up in Israel's business. It's amazing. It makes you wonder if Israel even knows that stuff's overhead. I'm sure they do, but a little concerning. And then, of course, off of Japan out on the Pacific side. Nothing down in Australia. Again, the drone aspect, it can hang. That Q4 drone can hang for about 34 hours, I think is what it was. And it has a range of about 12,000 plus miles. So, all right. And then, of course, this is going to be, let me see here. Let me back that up one more time. All right. This is going to be your grays. That's what this is right here. And that's going to be your agency boys. Now, the interesting thing that I would point out, let me go back. Let me hit this one more time on the grays. These are going to be your agency boys. Now, look at that the last 5 days. Look at the flight that comes out of the area where the RNC was. Okay. Picking up some people after everybody's cleared out, maybe. Yeah. Again, this is your Uber for your agency, folks. So don't see anything in Africa yet, but we'll talk about that more in just a minute. Okay, let's talk R-135. We're going to start out with the Nuke Sniffer. Again, I want to point out that it made its way out to Hawaii, and then it heads out to the Pacific and disappears. All right, last 5 days. But then the other piece, too, is look down here in and out of Caracas. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Venezuela. But you see them kind of rounding the northern end of South America. Yeah, that's your Nuke Sniffer. Now we look at the SIG Intel piece. And again, I showed you that we've got all of the DoD balloons are kind of out over the same area. Imaginary box. Okay, remember this is gathering cell data, any type of encrypted files, whatever it may be, being transmitted via air. And then see the one down there, Cuba? We'll talk about that as well. It's because the Russians are back in Cuba again. They arrived today, and I think they'll be here through the weekend or be there through the weekend. But now notice, too, again, up to the northern point of Europe and then out over the Black Sea. All right. Pretty active and busy the last 5 days from an R-135 SIG Intel perspective. And then this is going to be not what I thought it was. Let me break away from that. We're going to skip that one because that's not that was not the right thing. Okay, AWACS. Now, the big piece to this, when you start looking at the AWACS stuff, is not only is it over Poland, pushing out to the outer limits of Eastern Europe, but notice it's down over the Adriatic Sea, doing a little man in the middle there over Italy, but then you can see it down towards Spain and over France, which you would expect. All right, if it's advanced early warning, it's looking for nukes, and you got the Olympics going on in France. So now notice this one too. It kicks out over the Gulf of Mexico, and then Southern California, and then up towards the southern side of Utah. Again, you got all of these intel balloons hanging out over that same area. And then I see one that went from Alaska, it looks like, down to Hawaii, and then it heads south and disappears. All right. Now, that kind of gives you a lay of the land. Here is something I want you to see because this gets pretty interesting. Look at the air refuelers the last 5 days. A big indicator fighters are on the move. Again, notice all the flights going in and out of Hawaii, right? And then you can see some treks across the U.S. from that same spot out of Hawaii, which again would indicate they're moving stuff. And broken traces out over the Caribbean. But then look at this going across into Europe. Look at the amount of flights. That is a big, big indicator we are moving fighters into Europe. What I have seen, what it appears to me is once Flashbang made his announcement that he is dropping out, all of a sudden we see a bunch of craziness going on with these flights. All right, notice that one headed down to Mali. All right, and then another 2 flights broken traces down to Mali. But what I'm seeing is Flashbang announces he's backing out, and then we see this huge push. Are we about to go to war? That's going to be the big key to all of this, because then you get yourself into a position where, and it could be their plan B, you know, if they don't think they can beat Trump in the election, well, maybe they get us into a war footing, and then Congress votes to suspend the election. Which would not shock me. You think that one side would be opposed to that, but I don't trust either side, and I don't have any confidence or faith that they would do the right thing. So, okay. Now, there is that aspect of it. We talked all through the different platforms. Let's do this. I'm going to get into the news cycle, and this is an interesting data point because Venezuela just had what looks to be a stolen election. It says here that the evening protests, because I just make up words here. Protests explode in Venezuela as opposition crowds descend on Caracas. Well, that's weird. Weren't we just talking about R-135 that's been kind of loitering down there in Caracas? What are the odds of that? And they're all headed to the presidential palace. Now, Maduro basically has come out. He's been shooting them with rubber bullets and tear gas, trying to stop them. But I have a feeling this may go a different route. But the interesting piece to this is, where does it end? Where does it stop? They have people walking from slums on the mountains surrounding the city towards presidential palace. And they're basically saying this was a stolen election. So it's interesting that we kind of weigh in, and U.S. members of Congress have added their voice urging the White House not to recognize the results of the Maduro victory. What? What? That's weird. I guess we can do that for other countries, but not our own, right? Because if you do it here, it's insurrection. All right, just let that sit and resonate for a minute. All right, this is going to be Flashbang's schedule. Not that we really care, but anyway, this is what he's up to today. Looks like he's talking to somebody down in Brazil. Okay. Now, let's just look at this. National debt surpasses $35 trillion as the GOP raises the alarm. What? This alarm? Sorry, folks, but that should have been that alarm should have been raised when you hit the single digits of the trillion mark, not 35 when you're so deep in you can't get back out. Here's the thing that is really, really your big takeaway. The basically they're bringing this in and saying, hey, our gross national debt it's at $35 trillion. That equates to $104,000 per person. Well, when you got a median income in the United States of 40,000 and some change, you start you're basically 2x, a little over 2x what a person makes in a year in terms of their burden, their tax burden. Absolutely incredible. You can't get this genie back in the bottle. It is going to collapse because you can't maintain it. And once that goes, everything else will follow. So, all right, here we go. This is going to be your NOTAMs for today. And we did have some activity down here with Flashbang. It looked to be in the Houston area. That is since gone. Looks like he is back here, and that's where he will remain. That's the Senior Living Center. Brown zone. Then we've got our regular danger boxes off the coast. All right. Okay, let's just back up just a touch. And you can see Europe looks pretty much the same. The only area that's getting really busy is down here in this general area around Israel. Okay. All right. This should scare us all. All right. Congressional panel finds that the U.S. military is not prepared for war. Yeah, it doesn't stop there, though. They're basically saying this new report has come out, and they're saying that we're not ready to fight a major war as major powers. So Russia and China have become the top threat to the U.S. They've always been the top threat, really. Let's just go to the next article. It says here, war games show that the U.S. could burn through its ammo in as few as 3 to 4 weeks in a war with China. Yeah, it doesn't even include Russia. If you go to war with both of them, you probably got a little over a week and a half, maybe, of total, maybe 2 weeks tops, to hold them both off. All right. It's not a good thing. This is a Scranton Army ammunition plant. What are the odds that it happens to be in Joe Biden's hometown? Yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, but it was a 114-page report basically saying we are in a bad place. We don't have what it takes to fight a major war. Yeah. All right. This can be Biggs Army Airfield. The only thing I want to point out is this 747 coming in from Frankfurt, and then it goes to Houston Bush from there. Why it's coming in from Frankfurt, I don't know. That's really not a location we typically see troops coming back from. They're usually out of Ramstein, so that could be something completely different. And then, of course, from there, it's headed up to Anchorage. Now you can see you got Omni 777 coming in, and then another Atlas Air coming in from Portsmouth. Those could be troops. And then these Glex, that's going to be third-party intel. And all of these Rs are helo flights. Okay, over to Dover. You just, big takeaway here, the big 747s coming inbound. Atlas Air, then leaving, going to Europe, it looks like, in RZE Poland. Then another one coming in from Atlanta. All right. What do we have here? This is going to be Ramstein. And big thing is just notice you got the Duke flight coming in. That's base commander stuff. And a lot of C-130 activity, some helo, the Belgium Air Force, Navy logistics, and then that Omni flight leaving to JFK that's going to be taking immigrants on a 767 out of Ramstein. Again, I showed you all the flights. This is a hub. In fact, if you go over and look at the Omni flights, when it gets to Europe, that's going to be Asia. And this is not just Omni, though. Notice that broken trace goes out where, I don't know, Diego Garcia maybe. And then, of course, you can see the hub. There it is, all right? And if you get over to the United States, the big key takeaway from the immigrant machine, the DOD machine, is just that you will notice this is more than likely most troops that we're looking at here. But look at the United States. Look at the amount of flights into Hawaii. But then notice all the ones down into Central America and South America, and then into Haiti, etc. Yeah, Hawaii, pretty busy. A lot of flights into Hawaii. And then, of course, you can see Central America. Yeah, we're just saving them the walk. So when you hear a politician say that our border is significantly less than it has been, they are basically ignoring the flights that are just bypassing the border. Okay, that's where you want to basically nail them on your talking point. Yeah, not so fast there, politician. Okay, here's U.S. Transportation Command. Just notice this one's coming out of Africa, South Africa. And then this one is coming out of Kuwait, all right? U.S. Transportation Command, only 2 flights on the board. And then the Brits are very active, but also notice that you're starting to see stuff moving further down towards Africa. You got Middle East, you got stuff going out of Cyprus and Crete, Crete's not shown, no, just Cyprus. And then, of course, their hub, all right? Okay, RZE Poland, it's very active, but the big takeaway, we're just looking for the non-commercial flights. Western Global coming in from Washington Dulles. That's an interesting flight location. And that's an MD-11, right? There's going to be Base Commander. That's one of your Duke flights. And then we go down a little further, another Camber coming in from Dover. And then some of the Brits coming in from Wiesbaden. That's going to be a dignitary flight. Then we go over here to the outbound flights, and looks like the dignitary is leaving, headed to Katowice, probably Katowice. I don't probably just butchered that. Atlas Air headed to Seoul, going to get some more artillery. And I can see a couple Brit flights, but all right, let's move on over here. Check this out. Russia docks 3 warships in Havana, continuing the parade of naval ships to Cuba. Do not be surprised, depending on what happens with the Trump piece. We got less than 100 days. We'll find out that they don't come in here and park missiles in Cuba yet again. All right. With us providing stuff into Germany and Poland and all these other locations, they could very well come in and put some nukes right into Cuba, just like the Missile Crisis 2.0. All right. Well, let me try to reload that real fast. This is The Guardian. It's going to pop up. No, do not. Check this out. Ukraine military intelligence. That's an oxymoron, but they basically are claiming that the role in the deadly Wagner ambush in Mali, and I guess they gave them a little bit of intel to get in to do something. I don't buy that for a minute. But anyway, yeah, this just went down in Mali. It looks like the Wagner group got basically whooped and sent packing. So there is that aspect. Now, if you're wondering, where is Mali? This is the part in Africa. Remember, we just showed you some flights, air refuelers that were coming down this way. But Mali is going to be right here. It's kind of in that wheelhousing of all the areas that have had coups in the last, say, 2 years, all the way across. You've had them Chad, Niger. In fact, we still have troops in Niger, and we are sharing a base with Russian military. They say we're going to be out by, I think it was mid-August or so. We'll be out of there. But as you see those flights that are coming down into Africa, they are probably bringing a little bit of fighter activity for some, overwatch here. But yeah, that's this is Mali. All right. Okay, look at this. What? We just had a little bit of a hiccup on the books. We've gone back and actually fixed our errors. Yeah, yet again, they just seem to find these massive accounting errors. Can you imagine having a $2 billion error on the books? Well, it's not the first one. It's probably about the 5th or 6th that they've gone back and basically sharpened their pencils, moved things over into different columns, reevaluated the asset value to free up more cash. And this is crooked politics is what this is. And the fact that they're allowing these errors to not come in and go, wait a minute here. You get no more money till you get your balance sheet accurate, all right? That's what they ought to do. Just stop the insanity, okay? But yet again, we are sending $2 billion in aid to Ukraine. And then, it doesn't stop there. The U.S. just announces an additional, in addition to the $2 billion they just found, $1.7 billion in new security assistance for Ukraine. So it's just the gift that keeps on giving. And we're going to give them more artillery, more HIMARS precision rocket launchers, etc. But this is why you have $35 trillion in debt, because we are just spending money like it doesn't even matter anymore. And that may be the case of all of this. All right, Western Global, you can see them coming in to, looks like Chicago out of Anchorage, Alaska. And then we've got one MD-11 coming out of RZE, just took off. All right, pay attention to this piece. All right, you got your Bibles handy, you jump into Ezekiel 38. You know that there are 3 primaries that come against Israel in addition to a bunch of others. But Turkey, Iran, and Russia, okay? They are the 3 that are going to come up against them. Now, look at what Erdogan has to say here. He threatens Israel, saying, like we entered Karabakh and Libya, we will do the same to Israel. He's basically saying we're about to come across the border and attack Israel, all right? Well, let's go take a look at the map. Again, Ezekiel 38, that's exactly, you've got Turkey, Russia, and Iran. Now let's go over here to the map and just take a look at who is just north of Israel. You get down here, this is the Israeli border here. This is Jordan. But look at what's stacking up here on the border of Israel. It's the Russians. It's the Iranians, right? Look around Damascus, right? And you start talking about Isaiah 17, where Damascus basically goes bye-bye overnight. Wake up, it's no more. Probably because of this activity right here. But you go a little further north, and you can see Russians are very heavy in Syria. They are very heavy with the Iranians in Syria. But then you get a little further north, and what do you start to see? All the Turkish flags that have also come across the border into Syria. And these folks, all of them, will try to march down against Israel, the hook in the mouth, so to speak, and they'll get their clocks cleaned. And then, of course, here's U.S., you know, and when you see the flights that all the broken traces and you go, what's going on? It's all going to the Middle East. Yeah, it's here. This is where we're flying them. We just, we go dark as we come in across Turkey, and we start landing out here at these bases. All right. So, yeah, we are pretty hot and heavy inside that region. So, all right, well, listen, that is going to do it for our SITREP today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you on Thursday with the next one. Stay frosty. Keep that powder dry, because this stuff could go hot. We're within a 100-day window of the election. God knows what is going to happen, honestly. We just need to be prepared to do whatever we got to do all the way through. So, all right, that's it. You guys be safe out there. God bless. Monkey out. Artisan handcrafted soaps. Get yours in the Monkey Werx shop today.